Hi all, welcome back. Red Storm, Dark Blue Defection, Scenario 3, Morning Glory. This is my part 5. We're on turn 3. Yeah, that was quite a long episode for me, just eventually getting that Chevy flight moved, the Phantom, and getting the BVR shot away. Yeah, I tried and tried, and yet John Brown's just brought something else to my attention. After realising that I knew I could be at high altitude on this, well, see these. I could not only pass these at high altitude and not get fired upon, they actually work at medium altitude. Let's play red card 1. There, it's there. You see the 2K22 there? Well, it only fires at deck and low. It doesn't even fire at medium, let alone high. So, yeah. Just caught me out there. But so I probably could have made that slightly smoother, really. And I could have come round here, couldn't I? Anyway, quick talk on a couple of points, because I don't think I've got an awful lot of time. I seem to be saying that a lot recently, but I still seem to have managed to put a lot of footage out there, and I noticed got a comment from Michael from Greece saying it's amazing how much stuff I can seem to be able to put out, but I don't know. Yeah, Tracy will tell you I'm up here too much, but anyway. Okay, so a few comments for John Brown. This was regarding part 3, so not an awful lot. He says the SAMs we were talking about when he mentioned about the 10 hex range. Well, it's in there under rally points, isn't it? Or orbit points. Rally points must be at least 10 hexes from a side's target hex and target hexes. And I was a little confused, although when you think about target hex, the targets that you're targeting, I eventually come to the conclusion that it was the SAMs in the previous part, and it's these are our targets here. So everyone's got to be, a rally point would have to be 10 hexes away from that to be a safe place to be able to do the rally points must be at least 10 hexes from a side's target hexes, if any, and this may eliminate a friendly open airfield as a legal rally point. Yeah, okay, so it also, if there's an airfield within 10 of these, then it's not a friendly airfield where I can try and remove my disorder recovery, do the disorder recovery rule. John confirms that. Yeah, the SAMs were the targets last scenario, and the mech and armour units are the targets this scenario. Any open NATO airfield within 9 hexes will be ineligible to be a rally point, and a closed airfield is never eligible. He goes on to explain that airfields are closed because they have gotten so close to the front that operations at this airfield cease. Yeah, makes sense. The reason these are closed is they're quite close, but he also follows this up with he carries on, remaining aircraft and ground personnel are being rebased further behind the front. Yeah. He also brings up a note which I didn't consider. Per 9.11, a closed airfield can still recover 1 flight per scenario if otherwise allowed for that aircraft type. This mostly applies to Fritzlar and it's 3 runways. So Fritzlar's there, so it must have that's a 2, John. That's a 2, that one's a 1, that one's a 1. So fair enough, it is a 2, so it's better than the other ones. But looking at our aircraft, well, our Thunderbolt, our bombers could land there, I suppose. Anyway, it's allowed to recover 1 flight. Now, I'm assuming that doesn't mean that it counts as a rally point. What it means, it can, 1 flight could land there, I think. Recover 1 flight. You know what? I've not looked at recovery and all that. Yeah. Hang on. No, I mean recovery. I'm just looking up recovery and recovery from disordered. So does that mean we could use one of them just once per scenario? Is that what that means? A closed airfield may still recover 1 flight per scenario if otherwise allowed for that aircraft type. as an emergency landing field to avoid possible flight loss from fuel depletion or combat damage. Yeah, okay, sorry. That's all I needed to do is read it. I mean, fair enough, John's not got the whole paragraph there, but, you know, he's pointing you to the bit, Grant. Go and read it. So it's meaning that we could have an emergency landing there to avoid possible flight loss from fuel depletion or combat damage. So, yeah, okay. He says, one other note is that Bad Hersfeld has fallen in the Warsaw Pact side of the front by this scenario's date. And yeah, I never really thought about this. There's Bad Hersfeld there. It's over the other side of the front. So, although we were trying to avoid flying over this, and yeah, it is AAA, Warsaw Pact, I'm assuming, have control of that airfield now. So, although it will still fire AAA, it's not an actual fact. I'm assuming I'm right in saying, John, that any Warsaw Pact flights that fly around that AAA barrage zone will not be affected then. Because this is it. This would be friendly control for them, I'm assuming. He says that means it is considered a Warsaw Pact airfield, including the inherent white AAA barrage zone. Well, yeah, there it is. He's confirmed that's what that is. And then, yeah, I had to laugh at this when I read it. The good news is that if Chevy stays at high altitude, he's immune to both the 2K22 deck and low only, and the light AAA only fires up to medium. Yeah. So, yeah, these only fire at deck and low, and these only fire at deck, low and medium. So if we're at high altitude, we're pretty much ignoring everything there. So there you go. And then the 40-minute-and-a-half mark, correct. If no attack from range is specified, you can assume that the attack must take place in the target hex. Note this info is also on play rate card 3. Yeah, I think or maybe I did not. It's on play rate card 3 level. Yeah, it is the attack profiles. Yeah, well, it's IP one hex from target, no climb, dive during bomb run. It doesn't say, but for the EOGM, for instance, it says attack from one or two hexes. I don't see where it says you have to be right on the hex. Well, maybe it is here. If he says it's here, it must be here. Anyway, we know it doesn't. I mean, it tells you there level. IP 1 hex from target, and then we're not allowed to climb, dive during the bomb run. So like I say, I don't see it. Notes maybe. No, okay, it's maybe there, but we know now if it doesn't say that, clearly you've got to be over the target. So so that was that, and then there's a couple of things from my latest part. Can't remember what they were now, but just give me a sec. Yeah. Well, it says, well done executing the BVR combat, even if it wasn't the result you were hoping for. And, well, I'm more happy that I've got it right then. I've not done anything wrong, because that was back. It seemed to be an age ago, the last time we'd done the BVR thing, but anyway. And he said, I've got it backwards regarding... hang on, let me just double check that. Is that I know exactly what it is he's talking about. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, he's saying I've got it backwards, and I did wonder about this, and it's about. Hang on. Well, that's the last comment. I'll put it down there. Give me a sec. Yeah, and it was my. Well, it's when we were trying to get in one of these flights front arc. When I was trying to get into the front arc, and the front arc was coming up the spine, and it was splitting right through half of our hex. So, and it was here, and I must admit, looking back on it, I thought, have you got that round the wrong way? Should it be the other way? It feels like it should be the other way, because it's us that are looking to attack here. And that's what John has said. He says I've got it round the wrong way. That the flight that we're looking at, well, it was flight C that I was talking about at the time. I know I ended up not going for that one, but it was flight C, and John says that's the target flight and that's the non-target flight. So going by that, if you read there, it says that if a target hex or target flight is on a boundary that splits the hex in half, the player controlling the non-target flight chooses which arc it falls into. But then after posting, I posted my comment and then I edited it pretty quickly, so hopefully I've edited it in time so John will see the full thing. Then I started thinking, well, hang on, we're trying to get into his front arc, so is it not us that are the target then? If we're trying to get into his front arc, and then it should be him that decides where we are, if we're in his front arc or not. So I started thinking like that. So, well, I'll leave that with you, John. I did also add that could just be a Grantos way of thinking about it, and it's quite possible that it is. It kind of feels like John's more than likely right, and what we're trying to achieve here is getting at his front arc to be able to shoot at him. So, you know, we are the attacker, that's the target flight. I don't know, it just feels a little odd that what we're trying to do is get into it. I mean, if we wanted him in our front arc, then yeah, I totally agree that he's the target and we're the non-target. But it's the other way about, and that's why I'm just putting that out there. Let me know what you think. We eventually bypassed that idea and done something totally different anyway, didn't we? We went for the A flight, didn't we? And it all kind of worked reasonably well. Well, I mean, we did get the morale hit at the end for them, so, but yeah, no shots on them, which was a bit... Well, no hits on them, sorry. We got 2 shots, didn't we? And then no hits. Okay. Well, I'll leave John. I'll maybe come back with something more than that, just in case. But if he knows exactly what I'm meaning and he still sticks by, no, we are still in the non-target flight, and that is a target flight, and that's how you look at it. Then that's great. I'm happy to go with that. Hopefully it sinks in though, because it's one of the things that they're the things I find a bit difficult, and it's probably these things that I should maybe take a wee note of. I mean, it took me a while. I mean, even the detection letters, getting around that was, and then sometimes how many aircraft were in the flight was throwing me a little bit as well. Anyway, okay. Right, so we finished. I never left anything. It should be Warsaw Pact's turn, shouldn't it? I know I would normally have left this. I think I dashed away pretty quick last night because I'd kind of like went a bit too far. Had I? Yeah, I thought I might have got back last night. It should be their turn because I remember, we spent most of the video actually just moving Chevy in and getting the BBR shot, and then I think I just rushed. I had initially had 2, and I just rushed this bomber, moved him a couple of X's just to finish the part because we were at an hour at the time. So it is Warsaw Pact's turn, and obviously I know a lot of you have noticed all this, but here's my concern. I'm kind of glad I didn't move Lion because Chevy's not detected. So, it's a Warsaw Pact's turn to go, but they don't have... It needs to be a detected flight, doesn't it? Play red card 5. No. Yeah. If detected enemy flight and same hex or within 7 hexes, so if they don't have anything within... And I suppose you could, it's not that you're gaming it a little. Well, maybe you could, I didn't think about that, but kind of makes sense me passing it back to the Warsaw Pact because they're just going to follow the flight path, and then it lets us move Lion and maybe get him out of the danger. Because I was thinking they're just going to go for Chevy, yeah, but he's not detected. So, and Lion's not within 7. He's the nearest detected flight, and he's not within 7. Okay, so anyway, okay, right. Let's draw a chit anyway, because they've not moved any of their flights, have they? So draw a chit for them. That's 2 on the large, so we know there's a 0 on one of them. It's a 1 though, so they're going to get 1. They're going to move 1 flight. Right, now, yeah, I just have to stop and think there. I mean, we've got 1 identified flight now. Sorry, they've got 1 identified flight. It does feel a little odd that they're just going to... Oh, hold on, though. They've got disordered and a BVR avoid marker on them. I mean, the disordered one's more important. So my initial thought there was it was going to be that flight that would move, but that's not. It does say you roll first, and then real bot flights in the suit move first. But we still need to randomise between. What have we got? We've got 2 spades. Well, I'm just going to roll a dice, and if we get a heart, I'll just re-roll. Is it a heart we're missing? No, we've got a heart. We've got a bit of everything. Right, I'm going to roll dice, see what we get. We've got a 7. That's a diamond. Right, well, we have 1 diamond. We only have 1 now. We used to have 2, but he's changed to a spade. Okay, so that's the flight that we're going to move. Now, he's just going to follow his waypoint. His next waypoint marker's down here. He's just moving along at Queen. What is it? It's high altitude. So he's got 5 movement. He's just going to go right down there. His next waypoint is going to be across there, so I suppose he could come across a little bit. 3, 4, 5. No, I don't think so. I think what we'll do is we'll come in here and then turn and then go there and then turn and then go up there. So I think he can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at high altitude. And then he'll come in here next turn, come in here, check for his altitude, and then turn towards path 4. And yeah, and remember, he wasn't doing anything because we had nothing, we had not a detected flight within 7. Yeah, that's right. That's I think that's it. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Right, well, it's back to us. Okay, well, I need to draw a chart, don't I? Yeah, I need to draw another chart. Well, I'll put that one back in the cup. You know, I shuffle about. I'm going to take that one. It's a 3 in the large. I kind of only wanted a 1 here. Oh, I've got a 1 as well. Because I thought... I'm not sure I do want to move Lion. I think I'm just going to move my bomber and let them have another shot. Yeah. Because if I move Lion, I'm going to be moving up here and it might hit... I might get within 7 hexes. Possibly. I might try and avoid that, of course. Right, well, let's just move our bomber. Because, yeah, that's fine. So he's got a movement of 2. Now his plan is to try and go for this one that's already identified. So yeah, nothing fancy, just 2 hexes move. God, they're slow, aren't they? When you see that moving like that, it's like, how many turns have we got? Well, we've got 14 turns, haven't we? And I suppose once we get in on the action here, I mean, I've not even started considering about how many bomb points I'm dropping on each one. I mean, what did I say? We've got 48 points. We've got 4 targets. That kind of means what? 12 points per target. Is that right? Yeah. So, is it as straightforward as that? I don't know. We will see. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Nothing more doing. Just staying at low altitude. I think we wanted to be at low. Why did we not want to be at deck? Yeah, because these only fire at deck, is that? And we know we've got to get on top of them. Ooh. Yeah, that one is in that. That one's going to fire, isn't it? Well, we'll just need to accept that, I think. That's going to be white at low, but then I need to be at lower deck. So it's going to be a 16 for them to hit that. There's nothing I can really do about that, is there? And the other one, I'll need to watch this as well, unless we can go in there and turn to avoid that, maybe. We can, though, because we've got a big turning arc, haven't we? We can turn 180 degrees as a full turn. But remember, when we're doing the bombing run, I was going to say, if I've got 2 movement points, but I can choose to only move 1. What I'm meaning by that is, obviously I set my IP here, but say I end up here and I've got 2 movement points left, I can't turn, I don't think. Well, hang on though, Grant. You move in there for 1 hex, that's your first movement point and drop your bombs. Surely then I can use my second movement point to just turn in the hex and face the other direction. I mean, when it says you can't turn once you start your bombing run, that's between here and here, isn't it? It's just a 1 hex move, I think. Once you set your IP, maybe. And once you set your IP, you then can't turn. And we can't dive or climb as well. Okay. Right, so it's back to Warsaw Pact again. So I'd kind of like them to draw a big... They've got 3 flights still to move. They're not going to draw a 3. I don't know if there even is a 3 for the small side. Right, let's see what we get. I've got a 3 for the large side. Oh, there is. There's one that's got 3 on large and 3 on small, isn't it? Well, it's not that one. So we've only got a 1 again for them. So we are going to have to move lion after this. Well, unless we draw the 0. Right, so what we've still got to move, we've got a spade or a heart. So we can roll randomise between that. So the heart's odd. And it is a 9, so it is going to be the heart. Now he's at medium altitude, so he's got a speed of 4. And again, no detected flights within 7 hexes. So speed of 4. He's got a max turn, so you can't start turning, but that's fine. He's not going to. So that's going to come off, and he's just going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. And staying at a medium. Now he's just right up close here. But that could be interesting, because we still have our infrared missiles have got a BVR range of 1 from front beam and rear. The other thing I've got is that detection. Oh, I'll be able to do that actually. I'll be able to do that before the side. I've got that thing that's got on it. What is it? ANASX. Oh, it's got to be at the same altitude. And I think it's got to be in my front arc. Well, we might see what happens with this flight, because it might have moved down. Well, yeah, we're not moving again before it does. Right, well, that was that, innit? That guy moved. So 2 Warsaw Pact flights left, but that's their initiative over again. So we've got 1 flight to go. I need to draw a chart. Kind of looking for the 0. Oh, might be 2 on the large side. It's 1 on the small again. I don't know if you can see it or not. Right, so that's us moving our final flight, our lion. So, right, need to look a bit more carefully at how we're going about this one. Okay, he's at low altitude just now, which is fine, which is kind of good actually. He's got a speed of 4. Why do we needed him low to be able to do the ID thing, eh? So he's got a speed of 4, but we want to turn him right away. Yeah, we do. So he's got 120 degree turn, max turn in the hex. So 30, 60, I think I only want to do 60. Sorry, I need a dice for that. So that was my first movement point out of 4. Now hang on. We could have dashed though. But then that would have given us a speed of 5 and not allowed us... but we only wanted a 60 degree turn, Grant. Yeah, in fact, we can still get a 90 degree turn at 5 speed. So do I want that extra movement point? So if I did dash, I would have 4 points just now left. 1, 2... Well, if I've just got 3, 1, 2, 3, that gets me within 2 hexes of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't get me in 2 hexes of that. So I think I just keep my speed like it is. That's me spent 1 movement point. So I'm not going to dash. And if I just go straight up here. Because remember, it can be in my beam as well. So 1, 2, 3. Let's give me a second here. So yeah, that's where we started. When we turned, and then 1, 2, 3. So that would be my full movement spent. Well, he's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, he's not within 7 anyway. I mean, this is now, but it's moved. It's only this one up there and it's not within 7. So I think that's fine. I mean, this guy's going to do, he's heading to that orbit point, I believe. I think that's what he's doing. So yeah, and then next, well actually, no, once we come out of this, we've still got the SAM acquisition phase to come. We'll be able to attempt a detection on that. Okay, so bring my low altitude marker with me. And why is there a blue cube there? You know what? That was for that was for Chevy, wasn't it? That's where he started. Yeah, it was. It's just been left there. So that's where Lion started. That's where Lion's going to finish. And I think we're good with that because we can make the ID attempt on that. Hopefully get it. However, we don't want to go over the top of that, do we? Well, that's fine. That's fine. All we need to do is go 1, 2, 3, turn 3 into there. Probably just stop there, to be honest. And then we're within 2 of that one. Yeah. Okay. That looks cool. Right. We've moved all our flights over to the last 2. Now, they're both spades. So this is where the real flight takes preference, isn't it? Real bot flights in the suit move first, in order based on proximity to human players' flights, with the closest moving first. Proximity to human player flights. Yeah, but that's we're not detected yet. I think I've got that right. They can't consider us being there yet, can they? We're not detected. That's right, isn't it? It does seem a little odd, maybe, because, you know, if if it was us looking at them, we would know they were there. But then you've got to, an AI's got to work somehow. And like I've said a few times, it's not the most complex AI. It's pretty simple. So it maybe doesn't take as much of this into account. Now, John Brown mentioned before that apparently, I believe he never actually commented any further on that. So I think I was asking about, he mentioned there's a solo system for the Downtown, the original game in this series, if you like, designed by the same designer, I think. Was it? Or maybe it wasn't. It's maybe, lead design, Downtown system, Lee Brimacombe Wood. And the lead designer, Red Storm, was Douglas Bush, yeah. So, Lee Brimacombe Wood. I think Downtown was the first in this sort of series. But he said there's a more in-detailed solo version. I think it's just on BGG for that game. Whereas it would maybe take things like that into consideration. Maybe sort of say, well, we know you're there, but we don't know exactly where you are and whatever. But unless I'm missing something here, but I think that's right. I think we just have to just go by what it says and need to wait till there's a detective flight within 7. Yeah, something bugging me about that, but yeah, no, I mean it's a bot flight activation table, and because if we look at, what I was thinking about at the time that he didn't have anything. Well, I don't think he still has. I know he's going to do something different anyway. But if he wasn't disordered and all that, if he didn't have a detected flight within 7, I think that's where we look into the DBD special scenario rules, and it says, I think this is this. But I mean, I think the way it's worded though, I asked about this and I don't think anybody made any comment. It's number 6 and it says, if a bot flight is activated away from its flight plan and no detected enemy flights are within 7 hexes, use combat throttle move to meet. Well, it's not away from its flight plan though. So what are you talking about, Grant? Yeah, so I mean, that would just, if that wasn't disordered, I think I'm right in saying it would just carry on in its flight plan, wouldn't it? Unless there was a detected flight within 7. Yeah, I think that's right. Just feels a bit off, but right, we'll go with that. So he's going to move first. So what have we got? We've got. I'll bring these down now since it's not so cluttered there now. So we've got a disordered and a BVR marker. So let's have a look at this together. See if we can. Where is it? It's on the front here. Right, it was on pause for a little bit. Right, so we're going to make a move with the MiG-23M flight, isn't it? Is it Glasgow? Glasgow. Yeah, and he's in a bit of a state. He's got a BVR void marker. However, more importantly, he's got a disordered marker. So we're on this, and actually we didn't need a roll. We had 2 spades, and then real bot flights in the suit move first. So that's why we're moving him instead of the other generic spade flight. So then we come across to here, and you can see we do this in order. So it says if any of these conditions apply in order, move as follows. So we've got BVR avoid marker. So it says combat throttle, spend 1 movement point to remove BVR avoid. But see, well, I mean, it does state there that if any of these conditions apply in order, move as follows. That does tend to say that you've got to go through them in that way. I'm just distracted. I'm watching I've got the wee dug up here. Just watching she's no tuning at cables. Right, so combat throttle, spend 1 movement point to remove BVR avoid. I think I've got to do that first. The thing is here though, the fact that I've got the BVR avoid marker and I've got the disorder, and the disorder actually wants me to set dash throttle, you know, shouldn't I really be setting dash throttle and then spending a movement point? Or is there something that stops you from doing that maybe? BVR avoid marker, hang on. Yeah, it doesn't restrict you. It just says that a flight that begins its movement with a BVR avoid marker must spend 1 movement point to remove the marker before it expends any other movement points. So, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start being a bit more stricter and following what I believe the rules are saying about the bot. We've come across 2 or 3, and one that we overrode before actually was regarding disorder, wasn't it? And about the fact that it wanted to climb one altitude band when by climbing it meant it wasn't going to reach its rally point. So kind of made like it felt like it was the wrong choice. So well, yeah, I know I'm going to come across decisions like this to make, and this is why I hate. Hate's not the right word. And I know I'm saying this is a simple AI, and I'm not saying I don't like it or anything like that. I'm just saying that I don't like to be left with this decisions to make myself. And you could say, well, you don't need to make a decision, Grant. You do this, and then see, the thing is, I can't set combat throttle, spend the movement point, then set dash throttle. So I can't do that. And it's wanting me to climb an altitude band here as well, which I can do. So, okay, so I'm going to set combat throttle and spend a movement point to remove the BVR avoid. So just looking at what we've got here, this is MiG-23M, and what altitude is he at without turning around? Is that high altitude? So he does have at combat throttle. He's got a movement speed. He's clean. So he's got a speed of 5. So speed of 5, combat throttle. We're going to spend 1 movement point to 4 to get rid of that marker. Okay, so then as we move further down, none of the other things apply apart from once we get to disordered. So if not adjacent to orbit rally point, dash throttle, which we can't do because we've already set combat throttle. Climb on altitude band, which we can do. Actually, no, we can't. We're at high. But if I was at medium, would we do it? Yeah, I suppose we would. I'm going to have to be more, like I say, I'm going to have to be more stricter and just do what it says here. If it was stopping me from reaching the rally point that turn, I'm not so sure. But then John Brown seems to want to stick with these. In fact, Howard even commented as well, unless it was a stupid decision. And I've kind of asked in my video, was that a stupid decision that I was making that last time? It felt like it was costing it another turn. So in some ways, I kind of feel like it was, but yeah, okay. So climb on altitude band and move as close as possible to the nearest orbit rally point or friendly airfield. And then if already, it's not already adjacent. So let's see where it's going. So it's near us. I think it's here, but I mean we've got a friendly airfield here. But I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is closest. It seems logical that that's where it wants to go. So it's got 4 movement points left. It can't climb an altitude band anyway because it's that high. Now it started with, it had a speed of what, 5, so it can only turn, it's just the 30 and the, what was it again, 30 and 90 at full, wasn't it? Yeah, 330s and a turn in 90. Free turn, 2 free turn, I suppose. Yeah, so 1 free turn, then 2 free turn. So he's got 2 left. And then 3 free turn actually, and then 4 I think. And then he'll be able to reach it next turn. Again though, see, next turn it says set dash throttle. Why does it need to then dash throttle? You know? I don't know. Just feel like there could have been a wee bit more in that. There could have been a wee bit more. Maybe I'm just being picky now. Because there's no need for that to go that. Well, hang on, Grant. No, there's not. There's no need for it to go dash throttle. Because all it's going to do is reach here and then just go round about this. Until we get into the admin phase, then it's going to try and roll and remove that disorder marker. So there's why spend the fuel point? I can understand this whole dash if he's miles away. I can understand climbing to the highest altitudes because he then gets some more speed and he's going to get there quicker. But you can see there's times when he doesn't really need to do that. I don't like overriding things like that. I don't like sort of saying, well... But you can see what I'm saying, I think, eh? Anyway. Well, we'll see when we get back to next turn, or maybe, you know, I mean, well, John and Howard have commented already. John has said he tries to stick by the box rules. So did Howard as well, unless it was something silly. But is that not silly? Is wasting a fuel point for no reason? I don't know. Seems like a bit pointless, that's all. Okay. Right, well, I think that's everybody. No, it's not everybody moved. They've got another flight to move. So that was him. So he's still got his disorder marker. He's at high altitude. He's going to be able to get to his rally point next turn. Now, am I right in saying that in this admin phase... No, he just got hit this turn, didn't he? Yeah, so he can't roll for disorder recovery this turn anyway. Which is fine, because I don't think he can roll anyway. Did he not? He took a -2 hit, didn't he? Yeah, so he'd need to roll 22 out of 2d10s, which is impossible. Okay, right, let's move flight D to finish up the last movement. And we'll get this turn finished. Okay, so flight D, right, he's not reached the second waypoint as well. So he's at high, he's got a movement speed of 5. So he's going to go 1, no. Yeah, that's fine. 1 free turn, and he's going to pause there and roll for the altitude. And let's do that. Let's roll the 4. I've not adjusted the dice yet. Spend movement point to dive to deck. That's what he done the very first time, and then I changed it because we shouldn't have been doing it the first time. So he should actually be at 4 just now. So he's actually going to spend the movement point down to 3 to drop to deck. And then he's going to carry on. He's going to go 1, 2, free turn. Well, actually, he can... that's fine. And then 1 more point. And that finishes his movement. He's at deck altitude. And we'll mark him. Well, I'm marking him, but we're just about to take them all off now, I think. Okay. Right, that's everybody moved, isn't it? Our 3 flights have moved. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they've not got 5. Our 4 flights have moved, sorry. Yeah, we've got 4, they've got 4. And okay, so all good. So I'll take the wee cubes off and we'll move on to the next step. So a fuel phase, well, we've got the one that's just Chevy. So Chevy spent another fuel point, which I will mark off. That's him spent 3 of his 10, so 7 left. So it's fine. And that's that. That was only 1. So SAM location phase. So this is where we can try and identify with Lion. We can try and identify this arm, this armoured ground units. Right, where's that about again? During each SAM location phase, a non-disordered fast fact flight may attempt to identify 2 waterback units and flights forward of beam marks. The attempt requires the flight to be within 2 hexes, deck or low altitude, and have a line of sight. So yeah, we're within 2. We can only do 1 because the other one's not within 2, obviously. So although it says we can try and identify 2, well, we can only do 1. Right, so roll 1d10, identification succeeds on a roll of 4 or more. And once identified, unit remains identified for the remainder of the scenario. Right, here we go. Need a 4 or greater. 7, yes. These rolls are going well anyway. We certainly don't want that to be messing us about. That's 5022 hex. So there we go. So I just flip that over again just to see that it's identified. So that's 3 out of the 4. Yeah, just 1 to go. And we're perfectly poised to be able to move 1, 2, 3. Like I say, I could maybe stop even there and just be within 2 of it, because the Lion flight after that isn't really. He can't do it. He can defend himself, but he can't initiate air or anything like that. So he could maybe fly about and get in the way a bit, maybe, but. Don't know. It doesn't seem to state that once he's like identified around that he's got to abort or anything like that. I've not seen, or I don't recall any of that. So okay. Oh, hang on. Was it SAM location or SAM acquisition? I think I've done it in the wrong bit. No, it is SAM location. I was right. Right. So now track phase. All detected NATO flights at deck in rough terrain. Is there any flights at deck? Low. I should zoom out a bit, what you see. We've got our 2 bombers at low, Lions at low, Chevys at high, and then over the other side, there's 2 flights at high, 1 medium. There's 1 at deck, and he is in rough. What are we doing here? Detection. Find the card. We're in card 2. All detected NATO flights at deck and rough. All detected flights at deck and in adjacent to a mountain hex. No, it needs to be a mountain hex. It's only the NATO flights that benefit for the rough. That all other flights they would need to be adjacent to a mountain hex. Or in a mountain hex. Right, okay, but we can still make a die roll. So we're going to roll to see what any of their flights become undetected. We've got 1 of each suit, haven't we? No, we've got a Diamond, a Heart. Well, yeah, we have. There's only 3 suits. Diamond, Hearts and Spades. So I'm going to roll 2 dice. We're rolling, remember we've still got the comms failure, so we're rolling on the E column to see if any of them become undetected. 2 dice. I rolled 7. Low's not good, I think. On the E, it's maybe high enough. It's a heart in curly brackets. So So we do have one heart, but he's at medium altitude, so I think results in curly brackets apply to any flight in the deck, any flight low on its own side of the front, and any flight in a chaff corridor. So he's not, he's at medium. We didn't need it to be at low, and that would have worked for him. So no, not happening there. Now, who have we got that's detected? We've got lion and lizard here, so we've got a diamond. Oh, they're both diamonds actually. Well, that would be nice. So on the C column for the Warsaw Pact, rolled 11. Oh, it's a diamond, but it's curly brackets diamond. Curly brackets diamond. Apply to any flight on the deck. Any flight at low on its side of the front. Wow. So lizard is at low on its side of the front, so it's going undetected. Oh, he's just over the other side. I thought lion was getting it too, yeah, but he's just over the wrong side of the front. Ah well. Well, that's fine. Our bomber went undetected again, so that's good. Right, SAM acquisition phase, none of that. Admin phase, flights roll for disorder recovery, and like I say, well, there's no point rolling for it anyway just now, because he's not getting any beneficial modifiers. He's getting a -2 modifier, so. But it just happened this turn, and he can't do it. That's why I made the mistake that the last time. And then it's just about removing some markers, zoom climb markers. This max turn marker was on Chevy from the end of his turn. He must have finished with a turn. The disorder marker stays on. Okay, we're all good. So that's us moving on to turn 4. And I really thought that was never going to take 51 minutes. I didn't think I was going to be here for 51 minutes, admittedly. So, yeah, I might as well just cut that now, make it a part, yeah. Because I don't have much more time left just now anyway. I'm off over the weekend coming up, but I've been reluctant to say it, but hopefully my son and my friend are coming through on Saturday. It all fell apart last time due to certain things. So fingers crossed we're going to do that again. And try and play a bit more of our, what was it, Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. We were playing that before, but it was a long time ago now. We're going to try and set up something a bit more regular, hopefully. And I'm going to try and get them to play a game of Obsession with me, because I've only played that as a solo game. It looks a real fun game, and I think anybody that has a wee shot at it would enjoy it. So I'm hopefully going to force them into a game of that quickly. So fingers crossed it still happens. But I'm off, and they're only here on the Saturday and that. So I'm pretty sure I'll have some time to get about this. I do also want to try and start another game on the table, but obviously if they're coming up on Saturday, I can't do that until they've been and gone. And I've got an idea. I've been reading rules about something. Not sure it's going to click with me, but the AI in the game, it looks really interesting. Although I've not tried to play it yet. And what I thought I might try and do a bit of before Saturday is try and have a game of it. Just myself, not pressing record though, and just having a wee shot at it and seeing how it comes about. But yeah, I've always found recently that since I started doing these recordings, that I find that it seems more beneficial to me to actually record it. I think I get more involved with it, and yeah, I feel like if I'm recording it, it needs to be, I need to put some more thought into it and whatever. Spend some more time with it, you know, rather than maybe if I don't do that, I might just I don't know if I'm getting this or no, and whatever. Mind you, I got kind of caught with that with RAF didn't really gel with me, which is surprising because Mr. Butterfield's games, I love any of the other ones I've played. I've really enjoyed, and I've got Space Corp. Is it Space Corp or Core or Corp? I think in it. I've got that. That's a great game as well. So Again, yeah, it's all solo. And I've actually got Ambush there as well. I don't know if you've seen that when I showed my games. I've never actually got round. I went and bought the cards for it as well, and I've always been a bit reluctant to play it because I think it's one of these games you can really only play once. And well, I've heard people's stories about people playing it years and years ago because it's an old game, playing it years and years ago, and then maybe getting out again and playing it again and not remembering how it all happened. Because it's kind of, I think it's driven by paragraphs and things like that, looking up numbers and. Right, sorry, phone call as you heard, but I just let that one ring out. I didn't just a number that I wasn't really sure about. Yeah, Ambush. So yeah, and why did I get onto that? Yeah, the fact that RAF didn't quite do it for me, but I stuck with my playthrough and went right through it and whatever. And I didn't hate it, but yeah, it didn't really hold me. And anyway, you're ranting on a bit now, Grant. Trying to get to an hour and make it look like it's a video that's worthwhile watching because it's an hour long. And yeah, sharp, Grant. Okay, I'll get away for now and I'll be back probably tomorrow. I probably should get another shot tomorrow sometime. Okay, right. Cheers.